back to the Blade itself. Of course, with the client application, Blade now also runs the brand new application, which is the ComfortClick Intercom. So ComfortClick Intercom was designed, of course, to now finally, communicate with your basically SIP intercoms. So there's a couple of ways you can set this up. You can use, of course, your own SIP server. So if you have so the way it works, I will try and get it into focus and just quickly show you how it looks. So you would go here to the settings account, and you have a couple of different options. So if you have your own SIP server, then you would select here your SIP account. So you would then fill out your SIP server information. But we can also, if you don't have a SIP server, you can also use the free Linhome account. So I will show you later on how it works, but you can also press this, create a free cloud account. You register completely for free. And then instead of using the internal SIP server, you can then use the cloud access. So for today, later on, when we're going to be integrating the 2N intercom, I will also utilize this, and I will use the free account. And later on, yeah, if you do have a relay and so on, you can also set this up within the application itself. So you just add it there, the outside unit, and then trigger the relays and so on. Okay, so we have, quick showcase of the device itself. If you have questions, I think we're already answering some down in the chats. The next thing that we now start do is to basically integrate this 2N intercom. So I will share my screen, and I will just show you how to get this device basically working. I would say for us today, I would say the easiest way for me to explain and showcase how the integration with this device works is to follow the manual that we actually created for the SIP integration. So I will just navigate to support. I will go to knowledge base. We have BOS apps, and here we have SIP intercom. And here for now, of course, we have the two different devices. We have a dedicated manual. One is for 2N and the other one is for doorbell. Since I have a 2N device here with me, I'm just going to open up this instructional manual. And the idea now is to basically just follow along with this instructional manual that was created and try to integrate this device with the Blade. So what I am going to do is I am going to, so if we read through the instructional manual, first of all, the first thing we need to do is, of course, plug the 2N device in and connect it to our local network, which I have already done. The 2N also has a PoE connection, so it is connected to the same switch. So once it's connected, I need to find the IP address of the 2N. So I have the IP address here, and I'm going to connect to my 2N. And this is basically the first screen that you see when you connect to your device. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag the 2N here, and then we are going to have the instructions here on the right side. So you will see, basically, the idea is now you will see just by following the instructions how fairly simple I would say it is to get the device connected. So first 3 steps we already did. The device is connected to my local network and it's ready to be connected to. When we first connect, we can see the default logins. So in my case, of course, it's going to be admin. So this is publicly available. If you go online, you can see the default credentials. And when you first log in, you will be asked to create a new password. So I'm just going to keep it simple, password 123, just to connect. And we are already within the 2N UI, basically. All the settings are here. The camera feed is also there. You can see my hand. So the camera, we are connected and working. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow on with the instructions. So we have, first of all, we need to add our SIP account or our SIP server. So we're going to go to calling, and then we are going to select SIP1. So we're going to using the SIP1 account. I think this device will allow you to have 3 more. But for today, I'm just going to enable the SIP server. And then we are just going to continue on. So important first important thing to add here is, of course, the phone number. In our case, this is going to be, since I'm going to be using the Lindholm account, I think I may have skipped just one part, but I mentioned earlier, since I'm not going to be using my own SIP server. I'm going to use the Lindholm free SIP account. You need to register the free account first. So I already did this. I have the account. See, I'm logged in, and I need to now use the username of my account. So as a phone number. So this is going to be ComfortClick. This is going to be my username, and then the domain is going to be sip.lindholm.org. This. The next, okay, we have authentication. So now we need to add username and password of my Lindholm account. So this one is ComfortClick password. We're going to navigate below this. We have the proxy server. So we need to enable this as well. It is. So again, proxy address is going to be sip.lindholm.org. Hopefully I won't do a typo, otherwise it's not going to work. We leave proxy port as default. Register, we need to enable this as well. And again, address is going to be sip.lindholm.org, and then leave the port as is. And if all is set correctly, I will press the save, registered, and registered. So now we have registered to this SIP account or SIP server, basically. As I mentioned, if you have your own server, you would fill out, just instead of the online account, you would just fill out your local information. So the next thing we need to do is we need to add a call destination. So when or what are we actually calling? So to do this, we would go to the directory. So again, following the instructions, directory, we would add a user. So here under user, we can do name. So it's going to be, let's say, ComfortClick. Email is optional. Virtual number we can leave as is. And now this is in the important part. We need to set up the phone number that we're going to be calling. So here we add in the SIP. So my username. So ComfortClick. So at lindholm.org. I don't think there was a typo there. Let's just use the previous one that I did. So SIP. So the phone number is like it is showed here in the manual. So SIP, again, our online account. Okay. Hopefully it didn't do anything wrong, but we'll see. If something is not going to work, we're just going to correct it. And then what we need to do is we need to set the call type to SIP. So we press this little edit phone number button. We need to make this call type a SIP, and we also need to select the correct SIP account. So if you remember earlier, we created our, set up the SIP server as a SIP1. So we just select SIP1 here and use this number. And I think we leave the rest here. If you have some access settings, RFIDs card, you can set those up here. And we save this number. And then there's just one more thing to do and we are basically done. So I'm just going to go back to the directory. Here we need to go to calling again. And now instead of SIP settings, we need to go to dialing. So now we are gonna basically setting up what this button actually does. So when we press this button, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to select my account here and add it in and press save. Okay, so fingers crossed, everything was set correctly. Now, if I press the button, you see, okay, I'm going to start sharing. I press the button on the 2N intercom, and you can see now the call has come through to my Blade. So the way it works, you can see the client application was open, was running, everything is normal. I get a call, the application opens. I can use full screen to get, to get the full view of who's there. And then I can decide to answer or decline a call. So let's say I answer the call. I am just gonna quickly mute because there's gonna be an echo. Okay, so it's muted. So now we have two-way communication. So we can hear if someone speaks in the intercom, and also the intercom will also hear us if we speak here. As I mentioned, if you have a relay that you want to open a door, you would add it there under the devices, and you would just press here and the relay would open. I just have the just the outside unit here, no relay, so I didn't set that up, but you can just set it there. But the call comes through, you answer it, and you can see oh, I'm sorry, didn't show, you can see the screen. If I go wiggle, you can see the screen there on the app. And then once you are, finished with the call, you hang up, and then the idea with the app is also that the blade will just continue working as it did before. So the application would open, the client is there, and you can now use the blade freely as you would normally. And that's the whole deal. And another thing here, this was for this specific device, but keep in mind that if you have a Doorbird or any other device, I would say majority of the settings that we did here are going to be not the same, but extremely, extremely similar. So if you just follow these brief instructions that we did here, you should be able to set up any other, intercom or any SIP device that you are planning to use. Even if we have the Doorbird example that we also have on our website, the instructions are very, very similar to this. You need to set up the SIP server, you need to set up the call, and in most cases you also need to set up the button. So what you are doing with the button that you're calling. I just got a quick question. Can I call the door from Blade? You could, yes. So what you can do is you would just go, you would open up the intercom. So you can add a shortcut, you can add whatever. And there here under the devices, you would add your outdoor unit. So you would add the name, what it is. You can select what's the device type. So video intercom, internal unit, outdoor intercom. Below this, you have actions to open up relays, and you would add the action. And then once it's there, you can press this little eye icon, and you would basically call the outside unit. So this is another option. But a majority, at least the feedback that we got from clients that are actually currently already using the device, is that this way that I showed you now works perfectly fine. So and also keep in mind that this is the first iteration of the application. So this was launched with the Blade. We are, of course, as you already know, with us, we constantly take feedback. We constantly try to improve, get the software better, more stable working. So also some additional features are also planned in the future to also integrate it more seamlessly with BOS, to have those communications running. And also, I can just quickly show if there is going to be a new update for the application. You will probably get a notification like email. There's a new app you can install. You can always go here to About, and then you can see we have download the latest version. So you would download the latest version, you would install the latest features or the functions that we may add later on, and have those running seamlessly as well.